Hey kids, my name is Miss B and I am so excited to paint with you today. This video is for your llama craft and I'm really excited to do it. So if you unpack your box, the things that you should have in there is a foam brush, a detail brush, 4 of these white wedges, your 4 paint packets, your llama craft with the llama and the accessories all wrapped up. And then these next 2 pieces are for your mom or your dad to help you with. This is a command strip and you can put it on the back of your craft so that you can hang it on your wall when you're done. And then super glue, and you're gonna need your parents' help for that. So the first thing you're going to do is once you take everything out of the box, you need to unfold your box. Mine is dirty because I've already used this to paint on today, but yours will be nice and clean. So unfold it all the way, and that's what we're gonna paint on so that we make sure that we don't get our table all messy. Put your llama and all of the crafts off to the side, off of your box, so that you only have what you're working on in the way. So the first thing you're gonna do is try to have an idea of how you wanna paint your llama. I'm gonna tell you how I'm gonna paint mine, and if that's the same way that you wanna paint yours, then follow along this video, or if you wanna do other colors, that's okay too. So I'm going to paint the background a light blue. I'm gonna paint my llama. I'm gonna paint him or her, depending how you decorate it, white with a gray nose. And then I'm gonna paint all of my accessories, and then at the end, we'll decide what we want to glue on. So the first thing I'm going to do, oh, and then another thing that you need to make sure that you have, you need to make sure that you get either a paper towel or a wet wipe, like a baby wipe, so that if you get paint on your fingers, you can wash them off. And then if you need an apron, ask your mom so that you don't get paint on your clothes if you're worried about that. Okay, I'm gonna take my foam brush and I'm gonna paint my llama white. That's the first thing that I'm gonna do. So I'm gonna show you on this one because my paint packs are already open. But I like to get when I do this, I like to squish it all the way to the bottom because these are the tear tabs. So squish the paint as much to the bottom as you can and then carefully tear this, and that's how it's gonna open. So I'm gonna get my white paint, and if you can see it, I'm gonna squirt a little bit onto the box. I don't wanna squirt it all out right now. And then just get some on your foam brush and then start painting the llama. You wanna use really light coats so that you don't, if you glob all of your paint on, it's gonna take a really long time to dry. So the first time you paint it, you're not gonna cover it all the way, but that's okay because we'll paint it a couple times. And especially when you get by the ears, because you wanna be able to see that outline, you just wanna be really, really light when you paint over that. I don't know if you can hear my dog snoring. She's sleeping underneath my table and she is snoring loud. Do any of you have dogs? My nephew Parker, who is probably going to be watching this video, he has a mini doodle and his name is Maui, and he is so cute and fluffy. Okay. As you can see, I'll show you a close-up. The llama is not completely covered with paint because I did a really light coat, and that's okay. I'm gonna do a second one in just a minute. So I'm gonna set this aside so that I don't get my next color on it. Now I'm going to take the nose. Actually, you know what? Nope. I'm gonna do this nose and smile, these sunglasses, and the eyelashes. And I'm gonna paint those black. So get your white wedge, and you see how it's like a triangle and one part is skinnier? Get the fat end. I already put out a little bit of black paint. This is wet. You want to dip it in the paint and then find a clean area on your box and dip off the excess so that you don't have a whole bunch on the ends. My dogs might start barking at the mailman. Then you're going to take this and all you're going to do is bounce up and down to paint. You don't need to wipe it. If you just bounce up and down, to see how good that paints it. And then when you have one coat done, put that up at the top of your box, dip a little bit more in the wet paint, and then dip off on a dry spot to keep it clean, to get the paint off of your wedge. And I'm going to paint the eyelash in the same way, just bounce up and down. And then the nose and the smile. Okay, so those, if you did really light coats, it's probably already dry. If it's still wet, push pause on the video and then push play when you're ready. Mine is already dry, so I'm gonna do a second coat. Dip a little bit in paint, dip off, and then dab up and down. If you like how much paint is on it, you don't have to do a second coat. But if you see that there's some brown showing through, then it's a good idea to do a second one. Okay, now while those are drying, I'm gonna grab this nose. So it's just the little circle. I'm gonna get this white paint and I'm gonna put a little bit on my box. And then I'm gonna use the same wedge because I'm done painting black now, so I can use this. I'm going to dip in my black paint and in my white. Do you see that? And I'm gonna swirl it around. And I want a really light gray. So that's darker than I want. So I'm gonna mix more white in it. If you have a plastic spoon or a plastic knife that your mom has and you want to use that to mix, you can do that too. But I just want to show you with the wedge just in case that's all you have. So when you're happy with the color, I'm happy with that light gray, then you dip in, dip out on the side, and I'm going to dip a lot on the side to get the black off. So that is just gray. And then just dip up and down, really soft. And if you don't want to use the same wedge, you can use a whole brand new one too. But I kind of like how this gives it a little bit of different colors because it'll be a little bit of dimension. I'm bouncing a lot so that I can mix my colors. And you don't need to push hard when you go up and down. Okay, so now my nose is done, but it's really wet. So I'm gonna put this at the very top of my box to make sure that I don't accidentally hit it on my project. Okay, now it's time to paint my llama again. So I'm gonna get more white and make sure that you put it on a clean spot. Don't get it in your gray or your black because otherwise it's not going to be white for very much longer. And then get the same foam brush that you used earlier and start lightly painting. And remember, especially around the ears, to go really, really light. If you get some paint in the black marks, that's okay. How many of you have seen a llama in real life? I think they are so, so cute. My daughter has llamas decorating her room. I think she would like one for a pet, but that's not going to happen. Okay, when you're happy with how it looks, set that aside to let that dry and make sure that you put your foam brush to the side. So, since I want to paint this a light blue, I sent you with a blue packet, which I already used mine, and so it's empty. If you like this blue, then you can go ahead and paint that color blue. I want to mix mine with white because I want mine to be lighter than that color of blue. So I'm going to use the same foam brush that I used to paint my llama because it will already have a little bit of white on it, so that's okay. And I'm going to mix it with some of this blue. So, do you see how I just put the white right in the blue? And then I'm just going to stir it around. And I actually need to go get some more white because I used up most of mine in a project that I filmed right before this. So I'm going to push pause real quick. Okay, I just added more white. And then I'm just stirring it with my foam brush. And then when you're happy with it, then you can start painting your oval. Now, just like with your llama, you don't want to do a whole bunch of globs of paint. If you do that, it's going to take a really, really, really long time to dry. So you want it to be light, and then just know that you can give it 2 coats if you want it to. Want it to be covered better. Can you see that? And I like to go in one direction because that makes it look more even. Okay. So you can still see how some of the brown is showing through, and that's okay. Once it's completely dry, I'll go ahead and paint that again. Now we have our glasses. Well, they're eyeglasses. You can either use this as a hair bow or a bow tie. And the flowers. So I think what I'm going to do I think I want to do my flowers pink. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some of my red and I'm going to put it down there, and I don't want very much red because if I want it to be pink, I want mostly white mixed in. This is how I use this to fill up your paint packets, and since mine is empty, I don't want that much out, so I gotta be careful. And then I'm going to use my foam brush, or my foam wedge, I mean, to mix it. Your box won't look so dirty because you won't have as much paint projects on it unless you're doing a lot of projects. Then maybe it will. Okay, once you're happy with the pink, then once you dip that, make sure you clean off your wedge really good because you just used it to mix, unless you have your plastic knife or spoon that your mom lets you use, and then you just bounce up and down. And if you know you don't want to do the flowers, that's okay. Just ignore this step. You don't have to paint your flowers. I'm going to paint them twice. So I'm actually going to let them dry because they are Not quite there yet. Then I will do my eyeglasses red, since I already have the red open. So I'm going to take a different wedge, dip it in the red paint, clean it off, and then bounce up and down, just really light. And then put that on the side. And my flowers are dry already. So put that wedge back where that is, dip, bounce off, and then bounce up and down. And set it aside. After you're done with your painting, I want you to comment some ideas that you would like, some themes that you would like for crafting. Let me know. Like I did a Pikachu this month and llama, but if you have ideas that you're really interested in, then comment on it and I will see what I can come up with for you. Okay, so my glasses are red, my flowers are pink. The last thing, oh, you know what I'm gonna do? If your llama is dry, if your llama is not dry, then push pause. But if it is dry, then since I've already mixed the pink, I'm gonna take my detail brush and I'm gonna paint inside these ears. That's an extra step. If you don't want to do it, that's okay. Or you could do that gray, like the nose, so they match, but just put a little tiny bit of paint on your brush and then just kind of try to stay in the lines and follow the lines. This part would probably take the longest just because you have to go a little bit slower. Are you guys so excited for summer and for school to end? My kids are, and so am I. I'm ready for a break. And the sunshine. I don't know if you can even see because I'm kind of far away. I'm trying to make sure that I don't dip my llama in the wet paint. I didn't plan that out very good. I think next time though, on the next project, I'll have my kids paint with me. I think that would be fun. But they are at school right now. I'm excited to see all the pictures of your llamas when you're done. Okay. If you're not done yet, just push pause. Don't rush through. And those are his cute little ears. Okay, then for the bow tie or the hair bow, whatever you decide to use it as, I'm going to mix a little bit of red, oops, and a little bit of, oops, I forgot I used up all my blue. A little bit of blue. I'm going to use the end of this since I'm done. Oop, I need more red. That blue was darker than I thought. So I guess mix mostly red and a little bit of blue if you want a lighter purple. If you want a dark purple, which is what I did, then blue. The more blue you do, the darker it will be. So if you want a light purple, do a squirt of red and then just a tiny, tiny bit of blue. So can you see mine? Can you see that purple? It'll look better after the second coat. I'm just going to do one for now and then set that aside because we need to do one more coat for our background and do a little bit more white. So get your foam brush back out. Who knows, maybe yours is all the way covered. Mine mostly is, but I think I need a little bit more paint. But it's almost all the way. What do you like to listen to when you do arts and crafts? Do you like to have it be quiet, or do you like to listen to music or watch TV? I either like to listen to music or I'll have maybe something on Netflix playing in the background, or that's what I usually do. Okay. This is painted. So now I'm going to do one little bit more of red. Whoops, I did a little bit more than a little bit of red. Did mine? Oh no, I thought maybe it stopped recording. Just to make it a little bit lighter purple. Still a dark purple, which is what I like. Dip out, and then we'll do our last coat. And then that is a purple bow tie or hair bow. Now I'm gonna push pause while we wait for everything to dry. So you need to be really patient. So if you wanna save your brushes, because maybe you'll have another craft you wanna do, then ask your mom if she can rinse them out right now before they get dry. So now's the time to start washing our hands and rinse out our brushes. And then when all the pieces are dry, we'll come back and glue everything together. Okay, once all of your pieces are dry, set them all onto the table. Let me tip this down so you can see. There we go. So the first thing you're gonna do is you need to have your mom help you with this part. She's gonna get your super glue and she'll open it over the box just in case it squirts out. And you're gonna take your background oval and your llama. And then it doesn't take very much super glue, and just an outline like that. and then put it on the oval however you want. And then you're just gonna hold it down for like 10 seconds maybe. Then choose how you want to decorate. And I'm going to give you a couple ideas, okay? So you don't want to glue the nose down until you know if you want to use the glasses or the eyelashes, because these glasses take up a lot of space. So some fun ideas would be you can do the sunglasses, the nose, and like a bow tie. So he looks like that. Or you can do the eyelashes with a bow tie, so he just looks like he's smiling. Or you can move this up and do a little bow. You can add eyeglasses to there, or you can do a flower necklace, you can do a flower crown, you can put flowers around. So let's say you wanted the sunglasses and either a bow tie or even a bow. So those are just some ideas. So once you figure out how you want to do it, then have your mom super glue your pieces down one at a time and hold them down for just a few seconds. And then when you're all done, have her take a picture with you holding your painting and have her post, because I cannot wait to see. So I hope that you had a lot of fun and leave ideas for what kinds of paints you want to do next time.